So I'm here on my fourth visit to South Sudan as UN High Commissioner for Refugees. And my last visit was relatively recent in December 21. But this visit, of course, has been accelerated, if you wish, by the situation at the northern borders of the country, the borders with Sudan, where we are witnessing a very large influx of people. In majority, South Sudanese refugees who used to be hosted in Sudan, but because of the fighting, they're now returning precipitously, if you wish, to their own country. And in a way, their conditions are similar to those of refugees, but they are actually returnees. And then, of course, amidst them, you also witnessed the arrival of thousands of Sudanese refugees and a few third country nationals, all of them fleeing conflict in Sudan. So my first message is really an appeal to the military leaders that are waging that conflict in Sudan. And my voice is not a political voice, it's a humanitarian one, but I think I have the responsibility on behalf of all the people who are fleeing. And remember, those that arrive here are only, in fact, a minority of all those that have been displaced inside Sudan and continue to be displaced, seeking safety. So my voice on their behalf, my message on their behalf is a message to the leaders: please stop this fighting. Yesterday I had very good discussion with President Salva Kiir on the need for, first and foremost, a ceasefire whilst negotiations go on, so at least the pressure on civilians, which is really enormous at the moment in Khartoum, in Darfur, in places of Kordofan and other parts of Sudan, this pressure ceases, and whilst the complex political negotiations continue. Meanwhile, of course, we need to continue to help the people on the move and the countries hosting them, such as South Sudan, and that's why I came here. I was in Awel on Sunday. I spent the day there with Marie-Hélène, our representative here in South Sudan, with the Commissioner of the Relief and Rehabilitation Commission, with the Governor of Northern Bahr el Ghazal and other authorities. And I want to, first of all, thank the people of South Sudan for being so generous in hosting people from other countries fleeing, just like South Sudanese refugees have fled in the past from South Sudan and have been hosted by other countries. You see how important it is that borders remain open for people that flee war and that hospitality remains strong among host community. Of course, UNHCR and many other humanitarian partners are engaged in a very massive humanitarian operation to help the people fleeing, but to help also the communities hosting them. I was very impressed that in Awel, the representatives of the local community, of the South Sudanese community, told me that they had agreed with the authorities to give a rather large plot of land to the new arrivals, so that over there they are mostly Sudanese, so that they can quickly move from being supported by humanitarian assistance, by food rations, to being more self-reliant. And this is a very good move, I think, not only very generous, but also very forward-looking and needs to be supported internationally. We've had important discussions on the humanitarian response with President Salva, with the government, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the acting Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Minister for Humanitarian Affairs, and other dignitaries. It is important. The government of South Sudan has pledged itself I think $15 million to help with a very important aspect of the response, which is the transportation of people, especially in rank, from the border to areas where assistance can be organized. In the case of rank, it will be, as you know, Malakal. And that's complicated because the only way to transport people is along the river. So the government has pledged support